What is going on, Hive Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about a video that was released by a YouTuber called Josh Brett, where he talks about his life and how eating healthy almost ruined him. It's an important topic that not a lot of people touch on in the fitness industry, and I definitely want to go ahead and tackle that in this video. I want to give my thoughts about what he presented in his video. Let's go right ahead and break it down. Stay tuned. Alright guys, quickly before we start, this video is brought to you by yours truly, Fledge Fitness and the Fledge Fitness Jump Rope. If you haven't gotten yours yet, what are you waiting for? With an ergonomic design, aluminum handle, and swivel design, you can't go wrong with the Fledge Fitness Jump Rope. You can click on the top right hand corner of this video or down in the description box below. And of course, as always guys, thank you so much for your support. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So of course I'm not going to completely explain everything that he talked about in his video because I don't want to take away from his video. I definitely recommend you go and watch. His video style is somewhat it's akin to my video essay style. If you ever seen any of my video essays in my video catalog here on YouTube, it'll be a familiar style to that, kind of a short documentary style. But he talked about how he was kind of misled by the fitness industry, but also looked internally into himself and realized that he was obsessed with health. Now, he was always in sports even when he was young. He was like in 3 different individual sports. I believe he was in soccer and running and another sport, but he always felt that he was incredibly skinny when he was young, and he felt that that made him inferior. So he ended up actually looking, into YouTube videos and stuff like that in the year 2009, looking at all these different YouTubers that were fitness YouTubers that were young and creating massive transformations or insane transformations in such a short period of time. He would try to emulate what they were doing. He would try to eat the things that they were eating. He would create his own routine and try to build muscle. He actually built a good, decent size for his age, 16 at the time, but he didn't feel fulfilled because he wasn't as big as the people he saw on YouTube. He wanted to be just as big as they were. So he kept doing more things to kind of accelerate the process, or just to nudge himself in the right direction when he didn't feel that he was seeing the progress he wanted to see, or seeing the progress, or seeing the speed of the progress. Now, I want to talk about a few things that can lead you down this road. First of all, this is a true psychological phenomenon that's called orthorexia nervosa, which is basically the obsession of health. And that can be everything, just the fear of ever gaining weight. So you're always eating specific foods that aren't really to your liking, but you just eat them because they provide the most health, or just focusing on nutrition. There's no taste, not really having any taste to it, but it's just overall the healthy food, and going to the gym, working out, all of these different things, being overly obsessed with the fear of gaining weight or not being muscular enough or what have you. Just an obsession with health, to the point where it becomes unhealthy because you're basically overdoing that. This can come from a lot of different things. It can come from a psychological inferiority complex, or feeling that you are being viewed as less than because you're overweight, or less than because you're small and skinny and not as muscular as someone else, or because you're overweight and not as skinny as someone else. So it can bring you into different paths. And then there are things that happen within fitness that does create that kind of casino lottery system, where you get a little bit back. That little bit that you got back plants an incredible seed in your mind that keeps you constantly trying to achieve something that may forever be unachievable. For example, you can't actually compare yourself to anyone else. It doesn't matter how fast they reach their goals. It doesn't matter if they were on performance enhancers or not. You are not going to have the same biology as someone else. You're also not going to have the same kind of willpower that someone else has for eating specific foods. we all have to cater to our willpower. That's why I always say that no food should be off the table, and you should eat the things that you want in moderation and trying to ensure that you get the nutrition that you need with the foods that you're eating. But still eat the things that you want, because at the end of the day, that is the most sustainable thing that's going to keep you mentally more healthy and physically more healthy, as long as you can control the amount that you're eating. Control the amount that you're eating. Don't take away foods that you like. That's really one of the key elements that I've always pushed here in this channel. But like I said, you're going to reach your goal. You're never going to reach the goal of someone else. You're never going to be as genetically gifted as someone who build, a channel, for example, through being genetically gifted. The reason his channel had that X factor where other channels can't really compete is because that person may have just been genetically gifted, so it looks aesthetically pleasing on camera, so he feels that he can talk to you about health and fitness, and you feel that you should listen because of the way he looks. A lot of people have to move away from that. And he said that he researched things and now he looks at science-based things, which is good, but still, you shouldn't just look at science-based videos or just science-based YouTube videos, even like this one where I talk primarily off of studies. You should kind of train yourself to look at actual studies. Now, you don't have to go down the entire study rabbit hole as I do, but you could at least look at meta-analysis and pay attention to study design, because those two things are important. A meta-analysis is going to basically do a lot of the homework for you by compiling a bunch of studies together to create one study. So synthesizing the data of sometimes even hundreds of studies, putting them together and creating one study that gives you an overall picture of all of those studies. So you get a better understanding of what the outcome is more likely to be for whatever given thing you want to do. So if you wanted to do, for example, intermittent fasting, look for intermittent fasting meta-analysis. You can even go on PubMed, where they usually take peer-reviewed studies from sites like the British Journal of Clinical Nutrition or the Lancet or other prestigious journal sites where there are peer-reviewed studies, and they can actually provide meta-analysis on PubMed. You can then use that information to get a better understanding of what you should or should not do. If you see a video telling you should do this and it intrigues you, I always implore you to go ahead and do your own research, and this can give you an understanding of how to start doing that. Look for the studies yourself. You don't have to look for the individual studies, but look for the meta-analysis at least, or a few meta-analysis or just one or two, just to get a better understanding. So that's the best way to look for information if you're ever uneasy or on the fence and you don't know if what you're watching will help you or not. But really, your mental health is probably the most important thing when it comes to fitness, because the best way to stick to it is not to say to yourself, well, I have to be this type of weight all year round, or I have to be this type of weight right now or before the summer. It's to live a lifestyle that is comfortable for you, but that is not overindulging to the point where you are constantly putting yourself at an unhealthy either overweight or unhealthy underweight. So it's a good short documentary that you can go ahead and watch, or a video essay as I like to call them. I will put the link to that video essay down in the description box below, as he dives deeper into that psychology that he had to go through, or the psychological journey that he had to go through before he came to his realization at the end. And I think it's a really good watch, and hopefully this video has enlightened you to understand more about things like orthorexia nervosa, where you can be obsessed with the notion of health. And